the Supreme Court, it has questioned the Delhi LG Lieutenant Governor B.K. Saxena over the glaring hurry in holding the last week's election to the 18th and final seat of the City Municipal Corporation Standing Committee and stayed voting to pick a chairman in the now BJP-controlled House. Now, a bench of Justice P.S. Narasimha and Justice R. Mahadevan also questioned the legal premise behind the LG ordering an election in apparent violation of the norm. In fact, to talk about this entire issue, I'm currently joined by Raj Laxmi Joshi, political analyst and a BJP supporter. I also have with me Sidharth Sharma, the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Let me start by asking Raj Laxmi ji, what is your first reaction to what the Supreme Court has said? You know, basis the observation of the court, which clearly asks what happens to the democracy, and said that the LG, he had in fact forced the issue. What is your reaction?
Very firstly, a very Shubh Navratri to all your viewers. And okay, let me just start by saying that this was a question put by the Supreme Court bench to the LG. So this is not the order, and this is not the final conclusion of the Supreme Court. And in the past also we have seen that, you know, it has taken, like you can see that there was this case of the appointment of the aldermen to the standing committee of the MCD. And that case was put on hold for 1.5 years by the Supreme Court. So the very bench, which was headed by CJI, Mr. Chandrachud, you know, they had actually questioned how the democracy will function if the LG will exercise his powers over the MCD. And the same bench later has upheld that he is very well within his rights to make these appointments. You know, in August 2024, after 1.5 years after making this questioning the authority of the LG, the same bench has approved that he is within his rights to do so. So today what has happened is that they have questioned what was the need, what was the hurry to do so. Now, the LG definitely had his reasons to do that because, you know, the MCD elections, they were due. The standing committee elections, they were due for quite some time. And then the functioning of the government, that was being held up. There were a lot of issues that were being held up, and the cabinet meetings were not happening. The MCD functioning was not happening. You have had very bad accidents, like especially the one at Rajendra Nagar, you know. So all these kind of things actually has caused the LG probably to call for this election. Now, the election was the date of the election. The meeting was adjourned and it was put to a later date. So because of which the LG had appointed another presiding officer, and they called for this election. Now, this is definitely something that the Supreme Court is looking into. It doesn't definitely mean that you know, the Supreme Court has ruled out that this thing is unconstitutional or that it is illegal. It is just a question mark, and it is now they have asked for the response from the LG, and they have also said that they will listen to what Ms. Shelley Oberoi, that's the mayor, has to say about all of this. So this is how the things are right now, and it is not like it is a blow to the LG. It is a question mark, definitely, but we have seen a similar question mark 1.5 years ago, and then, like I said, that 1.5 years later, the same thing was overturned. So we have to wait and watch what happens. You know, let's just wait and watch what happens in the days to come.
Okay. Sidharth Sharma, before you respond to what Raj Laxmi Joshi has said, I also want to get your reaction on the fact that there has been a long-standing conflict between the Aam Aadmi Party and the LG. Do you see this as a validation of sorts?
Well, Osama, once the Supreme Court has spoken something, I think there's no need for us to say a lot. I can be very, I think brevity and preciseness is what is called for. Today, what a great fall for Atal Bihari Vajpayee's BJP today for that all Chal Charitran Chehra. For Atalji resigned when he was only 1 vote short. Now it is sad to see insult upon injury heaped upon the entire BJP ecosystem by the judiciary today. BJP should now substitute its J for a G. G is equal to gate crasher. Wherever there's a party going on, BJP comes and gate crashes. This is now, Osama, the umpteenth time that judiciary has reminded BJP that in a democracy, collective trumps upon individuals. First, it was the services matter, which services matter verdict that Modi Sarkar overturned through an ordinance. Then came BJP robbing Chandigarh mayoral elections, and today MCD observations. Seems the whole of India has understood this, that collective being greater than individual, and that is why in the recent Lok Sabha polls, that's why India has ensured that Modi Sarkar has turned into a lame duck prime minister with two crutches on his side. The sooner BJP realizes this, the better it will be for Indian democracy, that an individual, however big he is, he has to always be subservient to the collective elected representatives. That is parliamentary democracy, period. I rest my case.
Okay. But before I go to Raj Laxmi Joshi, I also want to understand from you, how does the Aam Aadmi Party plan to move forward on this particular issue now? Is there a legal route that you are planning to take, especially considering the Supreme Court's scrutiny?
Well, Osama, once this matter is sub judice, as Raj Laxmi said, that part I agree with her, that once the matter is sub judice, there is no point in we discussing it, what the outcome will be. I think viewers have to know that anybody in India, if there is an election happening, Lok Sabha election happening, you cannot have that Lok Sabha election being managed, the chairperson of the central chief election commissioner being a foreigner. An Indian election has to be managed by an Indian citizen. Just like that, the MCD or any unit in a Lok Sabha, if the voting is going to happen, only the members can chair those kind of votings. If the MCD voting is going to happen, the chairman has to be an MCD fellow, MCD elected person. Now in Chandigarh also, the BJP tried doing the same thing, bringing a bureaucrat from the top. The MCD elections also, the BJP tried to bring the same thing, a bureaucrat from the top, and that is absolutely not acceptable. Not just because it is against the law of principles of natural justice, but because there is absolutely no precedent to that. You cannot. It's like having an Indian election commissioner of India being a foreigner. It cannot happen. That right. Does not work out. It is the same case, and this case will fall flat.
Okay, Raj Laxmi Joshi. What Sidharth Sharma is suggesting is that this is not the first time that something like this has happened, and Aam Aadmi Party has objected to it multiple times. And this is what the Supreme Court has also observed. What is your reaction to what Mr. Sharma has said?
Yeah, Osama, I go back to the case of the appointment of the nominated members to the standing committee. Now there, now on 5th August 2024, the Supreme Court held that the LG of Delhi has the power to nominate aldermen to the Municipal Corporation of Delhi without the aid and advice of the Delhi government, and the court ruled that the power was a statutory power flowing from the Delhi Municipal Corporation Act 1957, and the governor does not need to act as per the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Now, Justice Narasimha, who has today questioned the LG, he's the one who has put up the questions, and he was the one who was heading the bench today. Now, he has written the judgment on that particular day, and he has said that once such a power is conferred on LG, the Aam Aadmi Party cannot have a say on this issue. So they have very clearly spoken about the powers of the LG, and at that time also the Aam Aadmi Party had questioned the powers of the LG. And now, another thing is that under Section 25 of the DMC Act, the formation of the standing committee is mandatory, obviously. And under Section 487, the LG and the Municipal Corporation have the authority to convene a meeting of the corporation under special circumstances, and they can appoint a presiding officer for the meeting. So it is not as if
it's also a question on it's also a question of overriding the mayor on this particular issue. Why do you think the LG felt the need to override the mayor on this particular issue?
Like I said, there were a lot of pending issues which were being held back because what was happening in Delhi is that the chief minister here, he is also the convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, which is the one who is in power in the MCD also. So there is a lot of there. I'm sure that there are a lot of issues within the Aam Aadmi Party happening, because of which they have not been able to focus on the activities of the MCD. So there were a lot of issues pending, and this thing was pending for quite some time. As you can see that the Supreme Court itself has had put a stay on this for 1.5 years. So you
Okay.
cannot keep holding this indefinitely. So that is
All
why
right.
after Ms. Shelley Oberoi adjourned the meeting, that is the time when the LG decided to take matter into his own hands, and he decided not to delay things any further.
Okay.
This is how
All right.
I see it.
All right. Mr. Sharma, one final word from you before we wrap this. I just want to understand, because this is what the Supreme Court has also said, couldn't more time have been given for this?
Yeah, I think it's very clear. Osama, can we say that the Prime Minister of India, just because he has a lot of bureaucrats with him in the Prime Minister's office, can he say, Om Bidla ji, please step aside? The Lok Sabha voting or the Lok Sabha chairman will be one of my principal secretaries who is an IAS officer. Obviously, he cannot. I think what the BJP ecosystem has to understand is that they time and again, the BJP ecosystem harps upon an individual having a lot of power. That is because in a collective, you cannot ride roughshod and bulldoze others. Whereas as an individual, you can. I think BJP is so enamored and so greedy for power that it doesn't understand that individual power, an individual superseding a collective, is contraindicated in the Constitution of India. They should go and read Article 1 of the Indian Constitution. India is a union of states. India is not an individual's whims and fancies. That's contra constitutional. So I think the entire BJP ecosystem has to understand this difference.
All right, all right. We are extremely sorry, we are running short of time. Raj Laxmi Joshi and Sidharth Sharma, thank you very much for giving us your views on this particular issue.